Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time for us to tackle a topic that too few tackle these days. We're going to see if we can define good, and we're going to try and do it together. Well, this show more than anything is going to show us if we can do that. We got William Deed with us from Oak Valley College. His life mission is to get people doing good and doing it together. And today he's brought together a group of people that I don't think have ever done a show together. So I'll let you launch in and see where you want to go. William Deed, welcome.
Hey, welcome. This is the first show that we're doing two people on the show.
This is awesome.
So,
And why didn't we not think of this? Because it is about defining good, not individually, but together.
together, absolutely.
So we got two totally different people from two totally different organizations. We thought about doing two totally different shows, and today we thought, let's see if we can do a longer show together and see if this will make sense for everybody.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I mean, really, when you look at these two, there's no need for an introduction. I mean, I remember I said that when Eric Goodman was on the show.
Yeah.
But you guys are everywhere, too. Every time I
They
open,
really are.
Yeah, every time I open LinkedIn, I see these smiling faces somewhere. And I'm like, look at these guys. They're here again. They're there. It's
For the 5 people that don't know, who we got?
So we got Sara Garske.
Garske.
She's the principal and founder of Elwood Advisors. And then we have Logan Altman. He's the chief impact officer at Doing Good Works. And that's the premise of the show, right? Defining good together. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like...
And I thought, I've seen both of them everywhere, but Logan bowed to Sara and said, I see you everywhere, every time I show up somewhere. And what did you call her? You called her something, you gave a great description.
She was like the commander of all things philanthropic of Orange County.
Commander.
That's
That's
really
it.
sweet. But I am very passionate about it.
Yes. Yes.
I look forward to it. Okay.
So the whole premise of the show, right, is defining good together. Yeah. You know, I always think about, we were talking about it before we started the show, how there's so many nonprofits in Orange County, right? There's thousands. And everybody's kind of doing the same thing. Yeah. But how do we define good together is a huge thing, right? We go to these events, we shake hands with thousands of people, we take pictures, we do all those things. Right. But then a lot of us walk away, and it's like you go back to your corner of the world, and you go back to your corner of the world. How do we bring this together for the betterment not only of Orange County, but
and what would
the United States?
What would that look like? Would that have a bigger impact? I often say, none of you guys, I don't think, are involved in homelessness directly, so I'll pick on that topic.
Yeah.
The topic that gets talked about the most in the 15 years I've been doing it, right or left, business or religious group, whoever comes in, that's when they all agree, we got a problem, we got to fix it. Yeah. And I say to them then afterwards, so why is it so hard? Why does it not get fixed? Yeah. Is it just money? And a lot of them say, because we don't row and vote in the same direction. We're not working together on this. Right. We've all got a different impression or a different field that we're, a philosophy, a group of vendors, a group of stakeholders. Yeah. We all got a different group.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we start with some introductions? Sara, you want to go first? Ladies first.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
That's it.
We should have asked. You asked her. We got to ask the commander.
I can't follow that.
I'm Sara Garske. I founded Elwood Advisors a little over a year ago because I'm very passionate about making a difference in the community. I've had a career, 12 years as a professional fundraiser, 16 and a half years as a fractional executive director for family foundations, handling all aspects of the family foundation. And what I find is both nonprofits and philanthropists alike need philanthropic consulting for greater impact and to work together. And so I love helping philanthropists through their philanthropic journey to have them get excited about the good that they're doing in the community, and having the next generation get equally as excited and involved in making sure that they have a voice in that, as well as the nonprofits and building the nonprofits up to have greater impact.
And before we bring in Logan, I got to do a quick dive down a rabbit hole. This is what we had a whole conversation beforehand about. I see rich people, successful people, famous people come in here all the time. And sometimes they're promoting their own family foundation. Yeah. And I often say, how? Why this? Some of them, it's obvious. My mother died of breast cancer or something. Yeah. Most of them, it's not. Somebody guided them in that discussion because they really didn't know They had now the resources to do it. Where did they put those resources? And then the other thing, which we can talk about later, is so many of them want to do it individually, but I'm going to cure breast cancer this way, rather than cooperating and working together with other organizations. And I wonder if that sometimes isn't counterproductive. I hear that all the time. All right, so Logan, all right, your chance. What the commander just...
One more question before we go there. I want to know how you define good personally.
I thought we were going to let the hook. All right.
Let's get right to that.
Go for
I
it.
think for me, defining good is finding something that you want to make better in society and getting, or in your community, and getting the key stakeholders involved, whether it's nonprofits, government, corporations, academia, and having that intention and to listen to everyone. I think the listening is very important because everyone has different schemas of their experiences and how they approach philanthropy, and trying to come to consensus to solve that problem together.
Together. Okay. Now, Logan, you got to do better than that.
Ah,
so who are you?
from the commander. Oh my gosh. Well, first off, thank you, William, for having me, and I can't believe that I get to do this with somebody like Sara. So I'm Logan. I'm the Chief Impact Officer of Doing Good Works. We are a social enterprise branding and advertising agency that aims to create life-changing outcomes for young people in the foster care system. And for us, using business to drive good, if you will, not necessarily being a nonprofit, gives us a little bit of leverage in that we don't have to necessarily fight for the same grants and donation dollars that so many wonderful nonprofits are already needing. But we can come alongside and help amplify so many of those wonderful organizations, not only here in Orange County, but really nationally, to say how your products and services can do good both for the people and planet. So we've been around for 10 years. I've been around that long as well. And, you know, for me, it's been a joy because I get to be around people like William, like Sara, who are so passionate about using the services that they have been gifted with to create good. And that's really what defining good together is all about. Is it's not just a who's going to do it best. It's not all I'm going to get all the glory. It's how can we work together to solve the problems that we have in our community and take charge and say we're not going to stop until it's done.
So what is, let's go back to the first two words. What is good? Well, how do you define good?
Well, for us, it's in the name, so we better know a little bit about it.
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, and it really goes back to our origin of, you know, when my co-founders, Scott and Jordan, were really sitting at Corner Bakery here in Irvine and looked at how they were going to be able to fund creating better outcomes for young people in the system. And they looked at the industry of the branded merchandise world and said, that's going to be it. But at the end of the day, what are we really doing? And my co-founder, Jordan, said, I don't know, what are we doing? And my CEO said, well, we're doing good works. And that really was the idea, is that we're using that term good to use business as a force to create outcomes. So for me, good is simply being able to take what you are personally passionate about and create action around that.
Action. So it's
It's
got to
action.
work.
Action, not stagnant, but action.
Absolutely.
What a great definition.
I've never heard it defined either way. Both of you did it.
Good job.
She did it in great depth. You did it in a unique
I
way.
mean, I would say execution, because it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Like, you know, nonprofits are coming together for a luncheon, for a conference, and then everybody walks away. But really, it's the action that brings more good into the community and being present at the table together
100%.
to come to those solutions.
So is it work to create good? Is it easy to create good?
That's a good question. I mean, because
is it just really, intention?
No, it has to be way more than intention. You need to have a true game plan around that. And you know, as a social enterprise, one of the big things that we get often asked is how can we make the enterprise as good as the mission, and how can we make sure that our mission work supports that enterprise? The two have to work together. It is not an easy way for you to be able to create impact, because most nonprofits that want to be able to get into the social enterprise space often think that, oh, I'll hire somebody and they can go ahead and run that organization. It takes energy. It takes to have a good business model. Your social impact has to be there, but your enterprise has to be equal to that social aspect, which is so critical.
Absolutely. Yeah, and people absolutely have to care, you know. That's what I love about Orange County so much. I mean, I've been in the community for a couple of years now, and I've gotten a chance to meet some truly amazing people.
Yeah.
And people that care.
Yes.
You know, you can go to pretty much any one of the leaders in Orange County, and I'm hoping as this show expands that we get out there and start breaking into LA
Yeah.
and just other cities and see the exact same thing.
Well, and you look at the philanthropy in Orange County, it's relatively young compared to other
Yeah.
large cities like New York,
I'm going to
Chicago,
interrupt you. I just
Los
want to get
Angeles.
Sarah to pull her mic a little closer there. Or get a little closer. Yeah, right. Go ahead. So I didn't want to miss this. You're drifting. Yeah.
Sorry. So back to Orange County is pretty young in terms of philanthropy compared to other large cities like New York, LA, Chicago. But what I find the beauty behind Orange County is everyone is willing to listen, to collaborate, to partner, and that really is unique and special about the community.
Agreed.
Even as being a consultant, a lot of consultants, we collaborate, we refer each other business because there's so much needs in the community and so much work that needs to get done that it is beyond one single person like we talked about before. It's really coming together and being solution oriented and having the right players in the room to help solve that problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to piggyback off that quickly because what I've noticed in Orange County is that historically being a very capitalistic neighbor to our north and south of LA and San Diego, we often were stuck in that mindset of who's the biggest Fortune 500 in the area or which nonprofit has raised the most amount of funds. And it was, I want my name in the OC Business Journal on the front and center. And it was all me, 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 me. We finally have started to catch up with our neighbors and say we will never be able to create the impact that we want in our community unless we work together. I always say there's the for-profit side, and I was recently introduced from a dear friend who said instead of the nonprofit, it's the for-purpose side. So it's how can the two of those work together with lawmakers to say let's all do good together.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna bring this into William here. You obviously work with Oak Valley College. You need, give you a little plug for Oak Valley College. What do you guys do? You always have a tagline that you explain to people what Oak Valley College is. Tell me that.
Yeah,
again.
we're an amazing college.
You really are.
And I say that, but it really is. When you compare it to other universities and colleges and private colleges out there, what we do. I mean,
because you would work for big colleges and school districts.
yeah,
and
I mean,
things like
I was a high school teacher for years in a Downey school district, and I saw a lot of what I love about what I see here in this college is that we go out and we look for these kids that can't afford these major universities, and there's so many. And I always compare my past to what I see in these kids. You know, I was raised with my mom, a single mom with 8 kids. I was a middle child. My mom never mentioned college once in my home. Never. Because she didn't know. I mean, my mother graduated from, finished the 7th grade, I think, and that was the end of it. So she was like, just get jobs and become good people. I don't want you to break the law. Just be good people.
Yeah.
And all my brothers and sisters turned out fine. We're all working, have jobs. Everybody's doing great in their lives. And when I got my degree, it was huge.
Wow.
It was a huge thing for me.
And how many years did it take you to get your
God,
degree?
it took me a long time.
Yeah.
I
So
was
your
in college for a
promise
long
is what?
time.
They can do it quicker
Yeah.
and without any debt.
2 years and 8 months in Oak Valley College. I
It's
go
amazing.
after those kids that are just like me when I get out there.
Because you make them go year round in a
Yeah,
little cohort.
yeah.
That's a very small
They go
group.
32 months straight, and they go into summer, winter, and they go 4 days a week. It's a pretty intense program.
Yeah.
But when they finish, they've got a degree. They have something that someone can't take away from them.
And you promise them they'll come out with no debt.
No debt since 2016. not one student has
Unbelievable.
graduated
That
with
is
any debt.
incredibly
amazing?
It's
important
incredible.
because so
Yeah.
many struggle.
Yeah.
They go to college to have a leg up and bring better economics to themselves, their family, and the community.
Absolutely.
But then they have insurmountable debt,
Yes.
and it really is challenging and hard.
Yeah.
So here's my challenge to William. I want to get that in there so we can. You all come from totally different places.
Yep.
Sarah's been philanthropy consulting. I assume that's rich people trying to figure out their legacy and where to put their money, kind of what to do with it. And before
Yes.
you're a fundraiser and how to get them to donate and do everything. Logan, I'm still trying to figure your
Yeah.
thing out here. You're helping foster kids. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But because I adopted a foster kid, so I know what that world's
Unbelievable.
like.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And William's got this crazy college where you come out in a couple of years and no debt. I didn't know such a thing could exist.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how does all this how do you work together, the three of you? How is there?
Wow.
Because you're teaching for business, you just do business programs.
Just
business
business.
programs.
It's all we do.
Sarah's doing philanthropy. I'm assuming not for average people, but for extraordinary people.
All people.
And then you're over here working with brands, trying to get them to somehow support foster programs?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great segue because there is the opportunity for what we do as a for-profit branding agency to support the work that's being done at Oak Valley College, or what Sara is doing. Yes, in theory, Oak Valley College and Sara and her advisory group can ultimately buy their branded merchandise through Doing Good Works, and we'll do the heavy lifting in creating opportunities for life-changing outcomes for young people in the system.
Yeah.
And that's part of whether you care about the mission or not, we're going to care for you. And we make it very accessible for folks to be able to play a role in that. Now, on top of that, Paul, we also take it a step further and say, how can we support the mission work that you're doing? So for Oak Valley, when they have opportunities to have entrepreneurship classes, or what is a social enterprise, that we, as that best practice or that trusted advisor, can come alongside Oak Valley and pour into the students as well as part of our give back into the community.
Love it.
And would you start working, Sarah, with the students at that level as they look forward? Many of these people are just going to open small businesses. They're going to be
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, an awful lot of them, if I understand correctly.
Every student starts a business in our program.
Yeah.
Every student.
So should they be thinking about giving back in philanthropy even when they're just starting a food cart or a pop-up business or something here?
Well, I think the biggest idea with us is to help them become functional adults in a sense, to get out there and contribute to society.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? When I was handed my degree, as I'm sure everybody else was, it was like, okay, now go find a job and do something. Do something with your life, in a sense, you know? And I had to search, I mean, like all of us, apply for jobs, interview, and do all those things. The beautiful thing about Oak Valley is that we help these kids from A to Z.
Yeah.
You know, we get them internships while they're in school. We introduce them to CEOs. And when they graduate, they have a network of people they can call and say, hey, I just graduated, you know, and can you help me out?
Sure.
I had a Google Meet with a CEO of a company today, and I set up a tour for 6 of our students to go and meet with her in January, and she's great. She's like, hey, bring them to me. I'll feed them. We'll sit down. We'll talk. I'll exchange cards with them. I'll stay in touch with them the entire time. Just a beautiful thing.
So my perception, I'm going to show you where I'm coming from, Sarah, is philanthropy isn't something that happens till later in life. When you have the resources, you have the time, you have the clear vision. When you're young and coming to college or starting a business or building a business through branding and other things and stuff, I don't see a lot of thought and energy goes into, for most of us, probably me included, philanthropy. That's later.
Actually, I have seen it differently. So,
Good, I hope so. 'Cause
as a college student, I stumbled upon a job at the university photothon, where that really was my first taste of fundraising and development. And I would call alumni, parents, friends of the university, and ask for unrestricted funds, which is the hardest fundraising sell.
What does that mean,
could,
unrestricted? You just give us money and there's no strings attached to it? Or?
so it's to the areas of the greatest need of
okay.
of the university, and that is a challenging job. But what it taught me was when you do fundraising calls, it really teaches you the art of rapport building. I was known as the rapport queen, the student photothon.
The commander-in-chief of rapport.
See, there you go.
And I know I have a loud voice, so I would literally sit underneath the table and bring the phone underneath and make those solicitation calls. But art of negotiation, rapport building. I eventually became a student phonathon manager. I had mentors that showed me that fundraising can really move the needle where government can't. And I've always been passionate about high quality education for everyone.
Yeah.
And so even with that experience, for young people, it teaches them skills that will last them a lifetime. It'll teach them leadership skills. having conversations, all of these soft skills that are so needed, especially now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when I was in university development, we would have a senior class gift. And so it'd be planting seeds, right? Well, the students were there. There are people who care about you
Yeah.
that want to help you succeed. So they're financially supporting the university. They're offering mentorship. They're offering internships. And so just even planting those seeds so they have that awareness that people truly care about them and they're trying to change their outcomes for life.
So we should get these kids
Yeah.
thinking philanthropy early in that life.
Absolutely. And recently, I did a training session for a local chapter of the National Charity League for high school girls.
Nice.
And I created a training packet for them. And again, it's about, I'm really passionate about next gen giving,
Yeah.
leadership, and volunteering. And so I was thrilled to do this because they even walked away and one even commented, "Thank you so much for doing this training. I feel like I'm a stronger leader because of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can go and solicit these businesses for the fundraiser that we're doing."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
And so we
way to put
talk a
that.
lot about, workforce development skills, but part of it is what I taught student phonathon callers on how to make the
We have another
solicitation
show.
call.
I got to give a plug for him. Nelma Maddox, who sits on a bunch of charity boards, she does a show here. Another one of these hard to pin down what it is shows. She calls it Board Talks, and it's ostensibly about what goes on in a board and what is a good charitable board and how do you set it up and how do you run it. And she brings in people, and they all have different opinions or experiences.
Yeah.
But she's brought in a lot of youth boards.
Yep.
I didn't know there were youth boards, and I didn't know anybody really listened to them. And one of the takeaways when we talk to these kids is, oh, my parents made me do it, or I thought it looked good on a college resume, but
Yeah.
I really like this. I'm going to do this. This has planted a seed. I'm going to continue to grow the rest of my life here.
Yeah,
Wow, what a
absolutely.
wonderful thing that is.
Yeah.
And the youth have such wonderful perspective. So I was working with a family foundation on the onset of when they were building the operations of the foundation, and there were 26 adults and 26 kids. And so we developed an application process for the junior board. And I remember sitting in a junior board meeting, and the 8-year-old at the time had
8-year-old.
Isn't that
the
incredible?
most interesting perspective, and it was beautiful and heartwarming.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is the secret sauce that makes you feel, okay, our future is bright,
Yeah.
and we're going to do
Yeah,
good together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that too, because we all share a very dear mutual friend. His name is Richard Ward, and he goes by 4 very important words. Philanthropy is for all.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something that the millennial generations have really been championing and bringing to the Gen Zs and lower, and realizing that, no, you don't have to be a Fortune 500 CEO or even a C-level executive or have X amount of money from a trust fund to make, quote unquote, a difference, but that you're
That was my perception.
Yeah,
That's kind of my
right.
question I was asking her.
Right.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, that is usually the perception of what it thinks it looks like in terms of philanthropy, but your time is philanthropy. How are you volunteering and making our community better? How can, like what Richard does with Success with Purpose is, how can we all pull a little bit of money together to make a big impact?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about it, is it's just everyday humans in Orange County saying, I want to be a part of this community because I know that together, when we're doing good together, that we can ultimately create a larger impact. So like Sarah was saying, philanthropy is something that we are wanting to start to teach the generations that are from elementary school up.
Absolutely.
And that's because it's now part of the decision making of organizations to say, we're going to, not just as one person or the foundation, say we're going to be a community as an organization of doing good and supporting from a philanthropic perspective.
And one of my favorite events that highlights this is National Philanthropy Day, started by Doug Freeman, who
Yep.
was my mentor for almost 2 decades.
Did that start here locally, or is that just like, I know there
Reagan
exists,
and-
but I don't
It
know.
started under Reagan, and
Reagan,
then
yeah.
now it's national. So every city, there's a National Philanthropy Day, and each city has its own awards. But my favorite is the Youth of the Year award, where you hear about a youth just wanting to make a difference and collecting
Yeah.
the clothes and doing the fundraising. And I mean, every year I'm crying during
Yeah.
that award.
Yeah. You know,
great.
the question that I've been asking myself since starting this job, that what I'm doing is, you know, I sit down, I talk to a lot of students, and a lot of these students are struggling to figure out how they're going to pay their tuition.
Yes.
Right. And so
Absolutely.
it's how do I help these students to find funding? You
Yep.
know what I mean? I know we're creating an endowment fund. We're putting money into an endowment fund and all that, but you know, it's so hard because I have these students that are like, I don't know how I'm going to pay my tuition next month. I
Yep.
don't know what I'm going to do.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sitting there and I want to write a check for everybody I can, but I can't,
Yep.
obviously.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the thing, is finding these funding sources to be able to help these kids.
Yes.
You know, there's so many that need help. You know, you can't help everyone. So
Yeah. That's it.
So
And that's
what-
what. Yeah.
What is the biggest challenge then to doing good? Because I hear
Yeah.
this all the time. Everybody who sits in the seat says I'm doing good. Now it might be good for their stockholders. It might
Yep.
be good for their family. It might be good for, I don't know, their customers. But they all use that word. We think
Yeah.
we're a good company and we're
Yeah.
doing good things.
Yeah.
And yet, all I read is terrible things happening to companies and lawsuits and
Absolutely.
and insider trading and
Yeah.
stealing, and there seems to be less good. Maybe I'm just an old, crumpy old Irish Catholic, but it seems less good to me in the world than I ever saw. And yet, everybody says they're doing good. So,
Yeah.
what is the obstacle? What's keeping us all from doing good together?
I think the obstacle sometimes, quite honestly, is just self-interest. And sometimes
Yeah.
that self-interest can destroy whatever good that can be. So there could be a conflict, right? So for instance, you're on a family foundation board, but then that particular family has a business. So there's going to be conflicts of, you know, unfortunately, sometimes the side is, how do we make more money
Yeah.
for the business? But that doesn't necessarily
So
like
the charity is just to
coincide
market
of-
the business
Right.
that we're
Correct.
good people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also getting outside of just the box, but then also understanding that resources are available, especially for the populations that we serve, those in the foster community who have aged out of the system. Our whole mission is to help bridge that gap from when they age out, whether they're 18 or 21 in California, to then how can they beat the statistics that are really against them? How
Really
can we
bad.
get more of the 3% graduation rates up? How can we stop incarceration rates from being so high? Same thing with early teen pregnancies. And really the idea is that resources are available. And so within our foster greatness community, and that's our philanthropic initiative that we took to say how we're going to support those that have aged out of the system, we found two common denominators, and that is one, access to resources and being a part of a caring community that you never age out of. And the community aspect is huge, but we've got a singular platform where you could go and find ways that federal and state funding will help you with regards to your tuition. You don't have to Google it. You don't have to try and figure it out yourself, because what happens is you lose that interest very quickly, and then you put it off to the side, and then you repeat that cycle.
Right.
So how can we provide not only that, but when you have housing insecurities and food insecurities, if I'm a student that I'm receiving these resources and then something happens, I'm statistically likely to then back out of that role within my education or my job. And that's why these statistics are so bad. So bringing to light the easy access for resources where you can go on and type in the same vein, food support and opportunities to write FAFSA documentation and get grants, both at the federal and state level in one place, is really why we started to see the statistics change, because we were seeing how easy it was to put it all in one place and make sure that you can have access to that no matter where you are geographically in the United States, because that's exactly why students drop out.
And a lot of it is just like the inefficiencies in these systems
Yes.
that make it
So I was trying to
more
get at it,
complex
right.
Yeah, yep.
for people to get services. But we've had a couple wonderful things happen. Now 211 is under the OC United
Yes.
Way.
Yeah.
And so that's made
They
a
are.
critical...
I didn't know
Yes.
they're part of the United Way now.
Yeah.
I heard somebody talking about that last night.
Yes, yes.
I think,
Yeah.
Tell
you
everybody
know-
what OC 211 is. We've had them in here, but they may not know.
Sure. So 211 is basically a number that people call, and they're connected with somebody who guides them through the different resources available depending on what their needs are.
A
So
one-call place, like you call 411 for information, you
That's
call 211 for information on
Yep.
how I can get help.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Whether
and-
it's a bed or a food or housing or
yeah.
something, right? Yeah.
correct. And so now there's like even in homelessness, well, that could be an all-day conversation.
That could be a huge conversation.
Unfortunately, but it used to be that if I wanted housing, I would apply to all of the
Yeah.
homeless providers like Pathways of Hope, Families Forward, all of them. But now through the United Way, they have a process where it's just one application.
Yep.
And
Nice.
it gets like funneled to the
Nice.
appropriate
Yeah.
nonprofit to get help. So
One-stop
there's
shop.
Yep.
so creating more of those one-stop shops, I
Mm-hmm,
think, is really critical because there's a lot of inefficiencies in the system, which creates barriers.
Correct.
Can I give
to
you an
the people.
example of that? And this isn't homelessness, but let me give you another one just to show that pops into my head. I'm just throwing this out. We're just freewheeling here.
I love it.
Free thinking. I know this is William's show. I'm taking over. I'm sorry here, but I
Do
can't.
you think, Paul?
We did a show. We've done an episodes with Laval Brewer
Yep.
from
Yes.
South County Outreach, who was on this show.
Yes.
And one of the things he taught me is the inefficiency of food. He
Yes.
said it isn't that we don't have enough food. We don't have food in the right places. And by that he meant, so there's food rotting in the fields right now that could go to somebody, but there's no way to get it from the field to here. There are big supermarkets that come to his charity, South County Outreach, and say, we got 10 tons of rice we want to give you. Isn't that a good thing? No, because I have no place to put it. And it will rot. And it will go bad before I can distribute it, or I don't have warehouses. I don't have refrigerators big enough to hold this stuff. So they go to a food bank, they give them a ton of stuff, and they don't know what to do with it. There's he said it was the inefficiency of moving. There's plenty of food. We just don't know how to move it around.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Laval also shared with me, a wonderful man, shared with me that a lot of it is just the packaging and the way that the food is supposed to be distributed.
Yes.
So
Expiration dates that maybe aren't really expiration dates.
Yeah.
But
absolutely. So there's a lot of work to be done in all of these different areas
Yeah.
to again create more efficiency and again cut the bureaucracy, but make things more efficient and accessible to the people that really need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's even where our school is placed. You drive down one of the streets and there's homeless tents.
Yeah.
All down the street. And I was thinking in my mind, man, there's so much work to do.
Yeah.
It just never stops. It's so much work to do.
No.
And that's
so what do you see as the obstacle? I throw that back to everybody.
well, it's like
they gave their opinions. What's the obstacle?
Well, it's the same thing everybody else is saying. How do we get the resources to the people that need it? A lot of homeless people don't have cell phones. They can't. It's nice to be able to dial 211, but if you don't have a phone to dial
Right.
211, how do you dial 211? And then if you get a bag of rice, how do you cook a bag of rice if you don't have a place to cook a bag of rice?
And so many of the
You
homeless
know?
groups that come in and say,
Yeah.
first you got to get them housing.
And you can't get a job because you need a permanent address.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you can't think about any of that if you can't figure out how we're going to sleep tonight and what am I going to
Yeah.
eat tonight.
Yeah.
You're not even going to worry about any of the rest of those things.
It's just a vicious cycle. I mean, when I used to work in LA, I used to work for 7-Up. I would drive. My route was Santa Monica and Malibu, and you've got homes that are worth $10 million on one side, and you have homeless tents on the other side. And it's like, well, what's going on here,
Yeah,
man?
right.
It's just it's just wild.
Yeah.
It just breaks your heart. You're driving up the boulevard here. You got the ocean on one side and the tents on the other side, and it's just a sad existence. It
How do
really
you
is.
break that divide? How do you break
Yeah.
it down? Is it what I'm going to post this up as I'm taking over and being the moderator here. William insisted on putting together. I did not want to. I never thought of putting together. I thought it was all just about defining good, doing good, meet people. What do you do? How do you do it? He's constantly saying about how do you do it together.
Yeah, to me, I'm going to say this. To me, I think, again, I'm going to go back to Orange County. I don't go to a lot of other cities. I mean, I've worked in various cities and various jobs I've had. But what I would love to see is people coming together to figure these things out.
Yeah.
And it's going to take maybe a few of our lifetimes to make this happen. But if we put things in process where we start educating the young people to care as much as the older people do, or people that are already doing the work.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of great people that are already doing the work, but then we need to make sure that we foster that same, or we teach these young people to care and want to do good works as well. Like me with these students, I'm always pouring over devotions with them about loving people and all these other things. Yeah. And that's where it goes. And, you know, my two daughters are 29 and 25, and they see Dad, you know, buying people food and just trying to do what I can. And I'm only one person. Yeah. But there's millions of people out here, and there's people with so much money, and it's like, how do we get those people to want to help someone that doesn't have it? And it's not, you know, I always hear, I've gone to places, and I'm sure you guys have too, and I could go on and on with this forever. I've gone into places, right? And I've had these 20-year-olds come up to me and say, "Sir, do you have $1?" Yeah. And I'm like, "You're 20 years old, bro. You asking me for $1? You know what I mean?" You know, I'm an old dude. You know, like, you asking me for $1?
You're like, "Can I have $1?"
Yeah.
I'll give you one if you give me 5.
Flip it on you.
Yeah.
I'll give you one if you give me 2. You know?
Yeah, and I want to help. I do when I can.
Yeah.
But the idea is that, look, man, it's not just a work of a few. It's a work of everybody. And when we talk about doing good, how do we get from, like Laval even said this when he was here, how do we get from good to great?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And getting to great is putting together organizations that where we can bring businesses like yours and yours and mine, and we can bring these organizations together to say, man, how can we help the bottom line? How do we help your company grow? How do we help your company grow?
That's right.
How does my company grow? Mm-hmm. And that way we get more resources, and we're able to spend those resources to help people that really need it.
So that was my question, and I guess you're leading me into the perfect area. So is there a structure?
Sorry.
Is there a process?
Yep.
Is there a way? I see downstairs we're at the UCI's Applied Innovation Center. There are conferences today. There was one about what's the Association of Fundraisers? Or
AFP.
Yeah, AFP.
Yep.
They had their conference downstairs. Okay, great. Everybody comes together. They share ideas. A good start. But then they all go back and do their own thing.
Yeah.
You're talking about young and old, getting young people involved in an early age. Yeah. How do you do that? Maybe it's youth boards or something. Mm-hmm. How do you get people from the one side of the street to talk to the people on the other street? Again, is there a process? Is there a structure? Is there a thing in place that brings these people together, and not for one moment, but for an ongoing basis? I don't know. You tell me.
Well, I can speak to that. You know, both both William and I have the pleasure of serving on the Passkeys Foundation,
which is what? Tell us what that is.
So Passkeys is it's a wonderful nonprofit that helps to bridge the gap between nonprofit needs in our community with ultimately the group of Orange County to solve whatever that specific nonprofit may have. So born from that was the Institute for Community Impact, and that really is that's the incubator, if you will, behind how we can put action into place for these nonprofits.
Because you said it's got to be action.
It has to be action. It has to be action. And actually, my organization was one of the very first 3 that were presenting organization at the very first Leadership Breakfast Series. And what's great about this, Paul, is that it not only has 120 people, nonprofit, for-profit, community leaders in a room hearing about a specific organization's need and problem that's preventing them from going from A to Z. You don't just leave. You don't just say, we're going to go sing Kumbaya and go back to work, and that's that. Yeah. You then spend another incredible...
Like a religious tent revival.
Yeah,
we all
exactly.
Found
it's the Jesus Revolution. No,
and then we go back and it all wears off.
Well, that's exactly it. From that faith perspective, you have to keep pouring into it. So what's beautiful about this is that you then have a follow-up meeting with the community to say, we heard what your need was. We started to address that as a community. Let's put pen to paper and put this into action for you. So nobody leaves that room that's over in Santa Ana without understanding there is a follow-up action step to help this nonprofit go. And since then, and we were the only for-profit entity that's actually been a part of this. There's now been 65 different organizations that have presented over the last 10 years, but every single one of them could come back and say, because of the action steps that were taken versus us all listen to a problem and go home and hope someone calls me and says, oh man, I thought about this in my sleep. You should do that. It's let's get together in a week and put the best minds together and say, this is what we heard, this is what we think, let's put it pen to paper and get this rolling. So it's so special.
It's a wonderful program.
It's a wonderful program.
Yeah, Never heard of it. We should have them come in and talk
Yes, we'll get Dave in here. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah. In fact, I'll ask him to come.
There you go. There you go.
Never knew such a thing exists, because that is, Sarah said early on, it's individuals, it's everybody doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said, I got to put it into action. You can talk all day long, but I got to get a plan. It's got to work.
Yep.
And then you're saying you're trying to work with these kids from an early on to imbue them, not only to get them out of over a hurdle to get to school, but to make something last.
And there's a great verse that says, "Go into the world and make disciples of all nations."
Oh yeah, Matthew 28:19.
Right?
There you go.
Go into the world and make disciples of all nations, right?
And that's the problem I saw with foster care.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you my quick little story
Please
since
do.
I get to do it. So I'm an old Irish Catholic, but we had no children. And one day we're at church, and nobody I know still goes to church, or we did. And they're talking about foster kids and how many of these kids got no place to go. And I looked at my wife, I said, this could be us. And she's like, well, we could have talked about this 40 years ago or 30 years ago. But so we did, and we looked into it. We thought we'd just be foster parents. Foster parents. And we looked into foster adopt. Maybe a kid, you might think of adopting him here. And we did. We adopted our only daughter out of, she was born in Mexico, brought over illegally, fell into foster care up in East LA, couldn't speak the language and everything. And at 10, and nobody wants her at 10 because she's not a cute little baby anymore here, and all that stuff. So the statistic I heard is that about 500,000 kids at that time in foster care, most of whom are never going to go anywhere.
Correct.
And so they took them out to save them. They're being abused, their parents are drug addicts, or they're being beaten, or whatever, horrible things happening here. And with the aggressive intention, we as society take them in, and then if they aren't adopted in the first couple of years, they probably aren't going to get adopted.
Yeah.
And so the majority of them at 18, they give them a set of clothes and a check like you got out of prison.
Yeah.
And they expect these kids to make it.
Yeah.
And the majority of them fail and become homeless or prostitutes
Correct.
or drug addicts or whatever, because they got no support, no structure to watch.
Yeah.
I think we
After
talk
these
about, community, and it really does take a tribe to raise a family, especially, if I were to go back when my kids were young,
And don't blame us, just that's what Hillary said. So not everybody's going to get mad if they're on the right side or the left side here. But it is, I agree that it takes a village. It really does take a community.
I mean, I've had friends that were able to take my kids to football practice or whatever the situation may be because I had to work, and and then there are times where I could return the favor and be there. And I really think it really does, again, kind of relying and coming back to community, because we look at society, and sometimes we're distracted by technology.
We are divided now by technology.
We are divided, extremely
Absolutely.
divided, and sometimes even I personally feel overwhelmed. But it's nice being able to gather and talk to people like what we're doing today. We're talking about very important issues and how we can make a difference, but then also appreciating those times where we can turn off the noise.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
But I don't see enough. That's why I created this station. I don't see enough conversation about it. I see presentations about it.
Yep.
I see everybody wants to make their pitch. And
Yeah.
that's great. We all want to hear what's out there. But then how do we work together? I don't hear a lot of that, which is conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. I see it happening. I mean, I see it happening a lot, and it's a beautiful thing. I see it happening a lot, but I know that because there's so much.
I hope so, because I worry it's not happening.
Well, I just think there's so much work to be done.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's kind of starting in their own little corners of the world or whatever it might be, but I see it starting to happen. And again, it might take a few lifetimes to get there, but we put what is it? You put your hand to the plow and you don't look back.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
Well, and that's why we need to invest in the youth. It really is critical to teach them, these soft skills, to care, to be empathetic, if they see something happening, to put away their cell phone and come in and help.
Yeah.
And all of these things are really important. That's what's going to make society better, because I can't believe I'm saying this because I sound like my grandparents, but
that's when you're getting old, when you start sounding like your grandparents.
We always want, as parents, we want things better for our kids.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And if we have to change that trajectory, and the only way that we can change that future for the better is by coming together to be solution oriented, to come up with those interventions to really help these kids, because these kids are hurting. Mental health is on the rise.
Majorly.
And it's in everyone's best interest to care about kids, businesses, to have
Absolutely.
workforce development for the economy in our community, to make sure they don't leave our community and move out of state because it's so expensive to live here. All of those metrics, we need to come together to try to
Right.
change the outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, I got one more question, and we're coming close to the end here. So Logan keeps saying it's a for-profit
Yep.
branding business. So
Yep.
you want to make money out of this enterprise, not just to do good. How those seem to be in conflict so often.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to make money, so it's good for me, it's good for my stockholders, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing for the community. And I don't say that lightly.
Yep.
I don't want to be just sound like an old hippie like I am, but capitalism isn't about, it's about making money,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
about making a difference
Yeah.
sometimes. And yet you want to do both. And we have people come in all the time, these new sustainability corporations or whatever. I forgot there's some, isn't there, you can set up your company as not a,
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that.
where you
Yeah.
can actually set it up. That's one of the metrics. It's not just how much money we make, but how much impact. Is that
Yeah.
you? Is that what you?
So there's a couple things that, in this industry, to your point, Paul, that we are not only a certified social enterprise, which is a for-profit business that has determined they want to support a specific cause very near and dear to them. They don't have to register any different than they do as a normal C Corp, nothing legally binding them to it, but they make it a part of their ethos to be able to support a cause that's very near and dear to them. We took it a step further and became one of the very first public registered benefit corporations
That's
in
what I
the
was
state of
getting at.
California.
How does that work? Yeah.
So you actually have to register within the state that you are in. So for us in California, as a legal entity. And so what that does is it legally binds you to show the impact that you are making yearly on the mission that you've chosen to support. So it's not just a greenwashing of business.
Right.
You have to actually
Look at we're
prove-
doing good,
That's
but- yeah,
exactly
right.
right. That's exactly right. You have to have the receipts to prove that yes, you are actually. Otherwise, you will lose that status and you can get into
Wow.
severe trouble. So because we're not only both of those, we've taken that step to say and prove that we are reinvesting our profits back into supporting
Love
the
it.
community. And Paul, it's now $4 million in the last 10 years that we've reinvested
Wow.
back.
Wow.
Over
That's
$250,000 in in-kind donations, 80,000 in unrestricted funds, and we've now created the largest online community of individuals with lived experience getting critical resources
Yeah,
and being
yeah.
part of a community they never
So it
age
can
out
be
of.
part of your mission
It's-
statement,
Yes.
or it can be really part of your ethos, the culture, or
Yes.
whatever who you are, or you can put it out there and say, "This is
Yep.
really."
Yep.
You can hold me accountable.
That's it.
Is it? How's it different? Is it like a C corp or an S corp? Is it a different kind of corp?
So if you're a certified social enterprise, you've gone through like with Social Enterprise Alliance, and it doesn't mean you have to incorporate anything other than what you've incorporated as a normal LLC. It more or less is an internal decision that you are going to support
Right.
impact. It is that registered public benefit corporation. That's where you take the legal action to register. So even though you are a C Corp, you now have to also certify if you want to become a registered one within your state, and you will have dual status. But at that point comes a lot of responsibility, and that is where you are going to show every year the exact dollar amounts, what you're doing to be able to show that you are truly making an impact in what you say and telling your constituents that you are doing.
Different
Wow.
structure.
Different
That's heavy.
structure. Different structure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So would you ever teach? You should teach that to your kids over at the college. I don't even know they know that's a possibility to
Yeah,
be that
I-
kind of
Or,
corporation.
Oh, yeah.
Or just get Logan to come and spend a day with us.
That's
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. It's
Invitation
it's
is always there. my
Always,
friend.
always. I love it. I love it. But that's the beauty of, what William, you guys are doing is you're saying let's empower from a business perspective and learning that there are options as you need to create that impact. As I love about my generation is we are going to call you out if you are not being authentic in
Isn't
your
that the
entire.
truth?
I won't buy your product. I won't work for you.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
not associate with you if you do not align with making tomorrow a better place for us and our children. It is the way of the future. If your business and group does not get on board, you are out.
Yeah.
And so it is so important to start educating those that are in elementary, junior high, high school about these opportunities that don't look a whole lot different than as a normal, S Corp or a C Corp would, but say, I'm going to pick something that I want to fund and support, make that part of my give back, and that's going to then make me a differentiator. And again, I don't care if you care about it, I will care for you and do that heavy lifting.
Because I always
that.
said that's part of the
Love that.
problem with capitalism. I'm
Yeah.
an old hippie. So I'm a capitalist. I get it.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's about making money.
Yeah.
And so if it makes sense to cut the cost and to cut the people and to move to another country or to do anything, then you do it. I'm sorry. I'm impacting my employees and my community and my customers.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. I'm here for my stockholders, my shareholders, and for me. And therefore, there's nothing in there that is a built-in check the box. How did you do good?
But I think the tides are changing because
I completely agree.
they're completely changing because there's a lot of statistics out there that if you are a company like Logan's doing good, that it will drive business.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So if I'm a consumer and I'm buying that coffee mug,
Right.
the proceeds of that coffee mug are going back to the food insecure. I'm
Right.
going to be more likely to purchase that coffee mug.
yeah.
But then you also look at the people that are in the workforce. They want, like Logan said, they want to be part of something bigger than
Yes.
themselves
Absolutely.
and their company. And so that's really one of the reasons why I started my own philanthropic consulting company, because I think there's a lot of opportunities, particularly with mid-sized companies that want to do good, that don't know how. And that's
Exactly.
really where I can come in and help them build up the operation and the strategy and have
make it part of the company.
Yeah.
Because
it's part of the company culture.
Too many of them do just greenwash or whatever.
That's
you call
correct.
It.
Yep.
We'll throw that on the surface, but it isn't really part of what we do. When they call you into the carpet and say, "William, did you do this?" It wasn't about, "Did you do good? I know you made us a ton of money. I know you helped a bunch of kids, but did you do good?"
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody gets called in the carpet to say, "Did you do good?"
Well, if you work for a financial institution, for sure, because, they do keep track of that as part of the CSR work.
Yep.
And so they do keep track of employees that are volunteering.
What's
and so
CSR?
I kept track of my volunteer hours when I worked for a financial institution.
What's CSR?
Corporate social responsibility.
Okay, all right. Okay. So that actually is something they hold you accountable for, and you got to show it on your bottom line or your spreadsheet. Or
And
your
it's part of the
reports?
impact reporting. Again, if the company impacts that report of the company volunteering, the employees that are engaged on boards and volunteering, as well as, the contributions, financial contributions that the company is making, the gift in kind services that the company is making, all of that brings good light into the company and it makes the company perform better.
Amazing.
And it has a culture of philanthropy, which really is the needle that brings people together.
Absolutely. Wow.
All right, William, I ended up becoming the moderator of your show, so I feel bad, but I feel like
It's all good.
it's hard when you got a bunch of people here to come up with it.
This is an open conversation, so
great.
so it's all good. It's
We're
our,
doing good together.
it's
That's
our
what it
doing
is.
good
It's
together.
That's what it's
authentic
all about.
conversation.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, it's our show.
And I sometimes feel, because we do 20-some shows, big brands, City Hope, UCI Law School, others and stuff here, there isn't a common conversation between those shows. We're trying to be a community station with a bunch of individual voices, individual audiences.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we have enough of a community conversation about these
Yeah,
things.
and this is the first time I think in doing this show that we've had two people on the show and then just sparking this great conversation.
I love it.
I'm telling you, I didn't even look at what I just closed out my iPad.
Yeah,
I was like,
but that's the authenticity behind it.
This is the great beauty of it, because
Yeah.
I kind of do like moving the needle and being the change maker. But Logan and I were at a Boys and Girls Club at Central Orange Coast gala together, and we were talking about being on your show, and I'm like, are we doing it together? Are we doing it separately? And I was like,
We
gosh,
weren't
wouldn't
sure
it be
until you
fun to do
arrived.
it
Yeah.
together?
That's
And the thing I love about Logan is that he's authentic and he brings so much energy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we have that same care for the community, and I feel like our energy feeds off of each other.
Yeah.
I thought this would be so much fun.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about this guy. Everywhere I see him, the room is the room is on fire.
Oh, stop.
And Logan is you can't keep up with him. 'Cause first of all, I'm twice his age, but I just see him everywhere. It's like, okay, now he's over there. But I love it because everybody that meets him loves him.
Thank you.
Yes.
and so I knew this would be good. And I put together all these questions, and then I know Paul's going to always jump in, but I put these questions together and I'm like,
well, this
man,
is more like a
I gotta
panel,
close
and
this
I
thing.
Yeah.
It's
just
not
felt
gonna
you
happen.
needed a moderator.
Yeah.
kind of
It
thing.
worked out.
I mean,
great.
maybe we have a follow-up a year from now.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Because we want to be
yeah.
intentional and have follow-up.
Exactly.
Yeah, see?
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think
some
that's the
action.
key because that's too often we just have ephemeral conversations. They used to be they went into the into the air. Now they go into
Yeah.
the Ethernet,
Yeah.
and they evaporate and disappear. And for a moment, everybody's enthused. But if you could find a way to put structure and purpose and action into this,
Absolutely.
wow.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I got nowhere else to go. What else do you want to? Anything else I didn't touch, William? It's your show, and I guided it here. I'm sorry.
I think
was
we
awesome.
hit on everything. I
Yeah.
think we did it. We did a great job. I think for me, it's like again coming back and following up at some point to see
Yeah.
what comes from this.
Yeah.
Whether
Wouldn't that be
people
interesting?
watching the show or they
Yeah.
come up to you or me and say, "Man, I watched that show and I got this from it."
Yep.
And that's my hope.
and maybe I want to be part of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what could I do to help?
Yeah.
What could I do to support the
Yeah.
causes that you're doing, or to structure my company,
Yeah.
or to hold my people accountable,
Yeah.
or to create a structure for this so it isn't just something we get excited about?
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I love it. All right, go around the room, tell everybody. We'll start with Sarah. How do they reach you if they want to find you? They want to find
so-
you individually and join together.
So my website is elwoodadvising.com.
And why Elwood? That's not your name.
So I talk a lot about legacy, and my father's nickname was Elwood, and
okay.
unfortunately I lost my dad 4 days before I graduated college.
Oh, jeez.
And I just always
Now you're
thought
gonna get me crying here. Right?
Yeah,
I
right?
try
Be
not
happy,
to
right?
cry, but no, I always thought that like if I started my own business or for money fell from the sky, started a foundation, I would name it in his honor. And I really love what Elwood stands for. It's sustainable, it's humble, it's planting seeds. And everything that I'm trying to do within my business and working with families and companies and nonprofits is really developing that sustainable giving and growing and legacy.
Yeah.
And so who do you want to find? Who's your ideal customer? Who comes to you and needs help? Is it I pictured just the wealthy, but you're saying anybody.
It could be anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
they could
It
have
could
a
be a
family
company,
foundation,
yeah.
a donor advised fund, a company. They just need help getting started. It really is a philanthropic journey, and that's really the fun part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Logan. How did they, and did we give a website? How they reach you? Did you do it? I missed it. If you
Oh
did.
yeah, again, it's elwoodadvising.com.
Elwood Advice. All right, Logan, your shot.
Awesome. So the website's pretty easy, doinggoodworks.com. It's got two G's and works is plural. And then for me personally, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm sure I'm connected with you already.
Everywhere.
But no,
I'm connected with you, and I see you all the time.
I'm on
yeah.
LinkedIn too. So.
Yeah, and
We
it
all
would
are, yeah.
it'd be amazing just to be able to continue to spread the good and
And
to
who do you
continue-
want to? Who would call you? Who needs your service?
Well, the beauty is everybody does, whether
you go.
you're a sole proprietor like Sarah does, or you're a college kind of like William. I mean, the beauty is everybody gets to participate in supporting the mission. So if you need something with a logo on it, you're in. So
Yeah.
Right.
and
that could be anything. A
that's
coffee mug, a shirt, or
100%.
something.
And by the way,
100%.
Logan helped me design my business cards too.
See?
I did not know
There
We
that.
do the design,
Yes.
yeah, all that stuff. So
We gotta talk.
we got it.
We
So
gotta
your
talk.
promotion, you make the promotions and design them?
We help. We have all in-house design capabilities. We do everything from the promotional materials, but large brand activations, events, packaging, everything that you could ever want and do.
And
If you-
unlike all
yeah.
your competitors, you've got a certain percentages and a certain purpose
Yeah.
and passion where this
Yep.
profit goes. to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
Okay,
That's
William, how did they reach? Oh, you said it. They're doing good.
Yep, doinggoodworks.com.
Doinggoodworks.com.
That's it.
For me, I'm at Oak Valley College. So like Logan said, and Sarah, you can reach me on LinkedIn, and then also WDEED at oakvalley.edu. Ultimately, with this show, what I want to do is take this show to a different level. And it's not because I want to bring glory to myself. It's not about that. I love these conversations.
Yeah.
I love getting together and talking with professionals and trying to solve the dilemma of how we do good,
Yeah.
how we help people. And
Start
and
by
s-
defining it.
Yeah,
What is
that's
it?
it.
yeah,
that we
and
need
that's
to do? And
once
how do we do it?
once we define it, then like you said, we take it from good to great.
Yep.
Yes.
Right, and so that's the goal of this show. So if you want to be on the show, reach out.
Wonderful.
We're going to keep this thing going.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fascinating conversation, and I hope our audience is I know they're embracing it, and I hope they want to hear more.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, all of us here. Well, there you go. I don't know what it is always, but I know it when I see it. Isn't that the way we feel about good? That was a good show. And we're always trying to define good, create good together. Hope you'll join us as we continue this journey right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.